Aloha Kako, welcome back. My name is Armando, and in this video I'll be talking about the evolution of Hawaii. Now, there were four major eras in Hawaii's history. Talk a little bit about each. There was the kingdom monarchy era, missionary era, plantation era, and the tourism era, which we're now in right now. I'll begin by showing you a picture of the monarchs during the kingdom era. Now, each one of these monarchs had something to contribute to Hawaii and the development of Hawaii. Very important. So let's begin with Kamehameha I, who united the Hawaiian Islands in 1810. And that was the Battle of Nuuanu when he pushed Kalani's warriors over the cliff, Nuuanu Public Cliffs. And he had the help of two Hollies, Isaac Davis, John Young, who trained his warriors in the use of muskets and cannons. And finally, Kauai was able to become the rule of Hawaii, and that was it. That was when he became a kingdom. Now, some of the significant events in Hawaii's history. 1840 Constitution under Kamehameha III. That was very important. That was, and then the Great Mahalo. That was regarding the land ownership of foreigners. 48. That was also under Kamehameha III. 48. The Reciprocity Treaty of 1875 under King Kalakaua. Now, the way that worked was the Reciprocity Treaty. It's an agreement between Hawaii and the United States. Hawaii was able to send sugar to the United States mainland tariff-free, and in return, the United States was allowed to use Pearl Harbor as a naval base. That was the agreement, and it was ratified in 1875, and then 10 years later too. Some other things that I'll just mention on the side is King Kalakaua brought the hula back. It's banned during Queen Kahumanu was a Christian convert, and the missionaries came over and she banned the public display of hula. But later on, King Kalakaua brought the hula back during his coronation. One of the things that happened. Sadly, an overthrow of the Hawaiian Kingdom occurred in 1893. So, that was short-lived. The Hawaiian Kingdom didn't last too long. Now, which brings us to the missionary era. That was from 1820 to 1863. Over the course of a little over 40 years, the missionary period, 1820 to 1863, about 184 men and women in 12 companies served in Hawaii to carry out the mission of the American Board of Commissioners for Foreign Missions, ABCFM, in the Hawaiian Islands. I'm showing some pictures of Hiram and Sybil Bingham, some of the very popular missionaries. He was very instrumental, did a lot for the Hawaii people. Edward Bailey is my great-great-great-grandfather. And he and his wife Caroline, I'm showing pictures of them now, came to Hawaii in 1837. They had 5 sons. Now, if you look at the oldest son, his name is Edward Hubbard Bailey. Edward Hubbard Bailey is my great-great-grandfather. Now, Edward Hubbard Bailey married a pure Hawaiian. And Edward Bailey taught at the Wailuku Female Seminary about 8 or 9 years. And purchased the home in Wailuku. It's still today, it's a museum right now. It's run by the Maui Historical Society. One of the famous missionaries, White Baldwin. There was in 1853 there was a smallpox epidemic that struck the islands. He was an experienced practicing physician. He was able to get Lahaina quarantined and vaccinated many residences. You know, when as far as our neighbor islands, Lanai and Molokai and Hana and all of the places, here people, he saved a lot of lives. Thousands died on Oahu, but Lahaina only a few hundred. He was able to save many people. The thing about the missionaries, Hawaiians never had a written language prior to the missionaries coming over. Everything, the stories are told by chants and hula, and was passed on through generations. But missionaries created a written language for the Hawaiian people. They also created a Bible in Hawaiian, set up schools, and they tried to help the Hawaiians as much as they could in that regard. So they did a lot for the Hawaiian people. Now, which brings us now, at the same time was the plantation era. Sugar was a booming industry from 1835 to 2016. One of the first sugar mills was Kolua in Kauai. That was one of the first ones that opened up. And the reason I say the plantation era had a tremendous impact on Hawaii. Cultural diversity of the population of Hawaii, the food, language, so many different ways. First ones that came, well, Gan and Mono came in 1866, Japanese. Then, well, before that was the Chinese. The Chinese came around 1855. Then the Sakata, the Filipinos, came around 1906. I'm sure right now all these groups that came over. Now, the impact of the plantation era is the cultural and ethnic diversity of Hawaii's population. But also, in sugarcane, the second impact was the diversion of water resources. That impacted Lahaina. But it wasn't always like that, you know. Pioneer Mill Company had to divert the water for the sugarcane. And sadly, that's what contributed to a lot of the brush fires that were occurring in Mahalo on the west side. So the impact, that's the impact of the plantation era. Diversion of water resources, and another thing about the plantation era is food. That's where the Japanese okazuyas, they brought their food, bentos, a lot of Japanese food, Chinese food, Hawaii. Also the language too, another impact of the plantation era is the language, Pidgin English. Was created. Pidgin English was like a second language. So a lot of them, they couldn't understand each other. You had so many different races, and they had to communicate in some kind of common language. Their first language might have been Chinese, might have been Japanese, might have been Filipino, and they had to communicate in some kind of language, understand each other. That's where Pidgin English came. Now, with the demise of the plantation era, I feel that it will also be demise of no longer. In 2016 was the last plantation, and I think now, because you don't have plantations anymore, kids are being educated in school. Younger generation right now, they don't speak much Pidgin English, not like the old timers. Pidgin English. More jobs nowadays are shifting to the hotel industry. And that's true. You look at Maui, all those people, a lot of the people who perished in the Maui fires were Filipino. Now, their parents came from the Philippines, worked in the plantations. But as time went on, the plantations closed, and then they went and worked in the hotels because the hotels were I had a lot of jobs in the West Side. And a lot of them work in the hotel industry. Now, I feel that the cultural, some more jobs will shift to the hotel industry as time goes on. I feel that the cultural and ethnic diversity will grow slightly. In the beginning, you had like almost like 47% Japanese. Today, you only got like 14%. You have like one out of every four is Filipino now. I think a lot of the people are moving to the mainland. They're going to the university. It's changing everywhere. Yeah. Brings us now. We're in the tourism, so you'll never see a large scale production like sugar and pineapple in Hawaii again. So, because during the plantation era, laborers were paid cheap wages for hard manual labor. Today, because Hawaii is now a state, we have labor unions which would demand higher wages and for such labor. Therefore, only foreign countries are able to provide cheap labor for large-scale agricultural production. So you're not going to see that ever again in Hawaii. Now, future possibilities for Hawaii. One of the future is expansion of the agriculture, population of coffee. The second one is the Japanese tourists have expressed an interest in learning more about the culture of Hawaii. This is an area that could offer more, I feel, personally. Where in Hawaii, besides the state archives, can you view a large collection of old photos of Hawaii, including downtown Honolulu? This would definitely be a top tourist attraction. Now, this place is like, okay, Yolani Palace, but that's more of a Hawaiian room. Then you got the Bishop Museum. Again, that's going back to early Hawaiian period. You don't really have something that shows, say, and I'm showing some pictures right now, what I'm talking about. Old Hawaii, like in the 20s, 30s, 40s, or something. And explaining what these periods of history are and so forth. This is what Hawaii needs. This is what I think tourists would love to see. The historical aspect of Hawaii. You got Waikiki, and they got the same old tourist stuff over there. And I don't know, it's like any other place. You want to be unique and offer the tourists something that's unique Hawaiian from Hawaii. They should have something. Somebody should take out of the box and open. Shows them this. I think a lot of people would really love something like that. Anyway, that's my mana'u. That's my feeling. Any comments or would it be appreciated? How you guys feel about that? Hope you enjoyed this video about the evolution of Hawaii. Mahalo for watching and ahoy ho.